What's up, Rosebuds? Happy Monday. I'm sorry I am late. Okay, mom duties got in the way. Things got a little stressful, but I am here. I am here. I am here. How are you all doing this Monday? Um, what is today? It is August 10th. How are y'all this August 10th? Oh my goodness, it's been quite a week and it just literally started for me. Okay, Monday was hectic, but I'm glad to finally be home. Everything is not set up the way that I want it to be, because that's how much I was struggling to get here, but I'm here now, so we are going to have fun. Um, Thank you all for being patient, I guess, because I saw some of y'all in the comments like sending me the clock emoji. What's up, Shiz, Kennard, the Genius CEO, Cases and Cams? I appreciate y'all for holding me accountable for my tardiness today. I hope that you all are having a good day today. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys 3 videos. All right. We're going to discuss them. I think you've seen the topic. If you're here already, if you're coming into the building and don't know what's going on, the topic today for the Rose Report is from the NBA to the workplace, the trans debate is basically exploding. Okay. So remember, we've been talking about trans people, right? And I don't know if you guys have heard, but there are ex NBA players who now identify as women who have vocally expressed their idea of trying out for the WNBA. So now the WNBA is like scrambling basically to figure out what their rule is actually going to be when it comes to trans people being in women's sports. Okay. So yeah. All right. So it's like, you might have heard of, women's sports being protected. I think the last thing we heard about girls' sports in high school was that there were certain states that were banning the possibility to have trans girls or trans people in girls sports. Okay. And now the NBA is having the same issue with identifying what a woman is and or allowing the fact that a trans woman be allowed to play in a women's organization. All right. So we're going to watch 3 videos. They're all about the trans community, what laws are coming up, and like what we should be expecting or what we should be expressing our concern about, right? Because this is in the videos that we'll watch today, we're going to see why there's a distinction from sex and weight. Like you don't see women boxers fighting male boxers typically. It's usually women stick to boxing each other and men stick to boxing each other. And then even so, you're not going to have men in different weight classes, meaning like that range from like 100 and 125 or 125 to 150, right? Men in that weight group would compete against each other. It would be kind of brutal if a man that was like 5'10", 125 pounds had to box a man that was 7'2", 425 pounds. I don't know. You see what I'm saying? But in fighting, you are designated by your sex and your weight class. So there's already certain distinctions built into the sport when it comes to fighting. I don't see like how it would be fair to allow a man to box a woman. And I've heard instances where that has happened and the man has caused like severe damage to the woman that he was fighting. And it's not about guys, like, it's not about being discriminatory or prejudice against people that are trans. It's just about fairness. And, you want to be, clearly the scale is tipped towards the sex that was male in an instance where a man would go against the woman as far as strength goes, right? Because just like I think they say in this one video, like biologically, a man's heart is bigger, right? So he's pumping harder. His blood is pumping harder. His body is producing testosterone. I mean, anyway, yeah, I'm getting off on a tangent, but we're going to watch 3 videos. They're about what's going on, the trans debate. We're going to watch the first video here by Charles Forte on pro-trans NBA. Then we're going to watch this guy named Dr. Steve Turley. I came across his video when I was looking up recent updates on this topic. And then the last video will close out will be kind of like a funny, but still in line with the topic. And that is from Jesse Lee Peterson. Okay, so here we go. It's good to see you all. Thank you so much. What's up, Sandra? Hey, iFunny haha, the genius CEO. Hey, friend Blue, what's up? It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for my super chat, CEO. Let me see. Yes, thank you. Bounce pass back to you in the studio. Okay. Bounce pass. Okay, that's so funny. That video, that's crazy that she was saying that last night. That was funny. Anyway, bounce pass, CEO. So I'm gonna bounce pass to this video here from Charles Forte. I hope that's how you say your name, Charles. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that. Let me make this drop for CEO. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to drop this for you, CEO, so you can't say that I don't do it. I love that. I love that. Okay, so this is Charles's video. Let me pull this back up here so I can control what the video does. And here comes Winston because he knows I'm about to start presenting. I guess because my voice changes, he knows that I will give in and give him rubbies, but I'm going to not do that because I'm not going to give him rubbies. He's going to leave me alone, right, y'all? And we're going to train him to leave me alone when I'm doing this. So sorry, Winston, I'm ignoring you. Okay, here we go, y'all. Let me turn this up for y'all. I like the video. Y'all make sure y'all go and give him a like. Let's scoot this back. All right, here we go.
Star on my team that I'm building up. I will have the greatest team in history. They'll never lose. Nobody will come within 70 points of this team.
Hold on, let me go back. Sorry.
And I'll tell you what, if I were ever, I'd be the greatest women's basketball coach in history. Because I don't like LeBron James. I like Michael Jordan much better. But I'd go up to LeBron James. It doesn't matter. I'd say, LeBron, did you ever have any desire to be a woman? Because what I'd love you to do is star on my team that I'm building up. I will have the greatest team in history. They'll never lose. Nobody will come within 70 points of this team. Now we have to change that, and we have to make it okay to talk about it. You know, the young lady I was talking about is afraid to talk about it. She's shunned and she's canceled when she talks about it. This is crazy. Right, Kellyanne? I see my...
All right. Let's get into it right now, because yet again, we have another example of the deranged, delusional, dangerous reality that the left wants all of us to accept as truth. And it's not. And it seems like now we have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where it's coming back to bite them in the you know what. So let me just go ahead and catch you guys up on what's been happening right now in the WNBA. because they continue to embarrass themselves. And so you have this situation going on after WNBA player, as you see on your screen, number 8 right there with the Fever jersey on, Sophia Cunningham, came out advocating for women to be protected from men and their sport. And as a result of her defending women, you had other players and coaches in the WNBA come out against her, as it seems like they forgot exactly why they have a W in their league's name. And so now, as a result of them taking this position, you just heard President Trump speaking out as far as, hey, if he was a WNBA coach, since there seems to be this acceptance of men playing in their league now, he would go about recruiting players like a LeBron James type to go about to dominate the league and pretty much never lose a game if we want to be honest and really think about it. But the reason why I want to get into this is because this is a prime example of the loony liberal left and exactly the direction they will take this country if they are allowed to versus the right. And so we got a lot to get into, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so those are his politics, not necessarily all mine, but I do believe that this is kind of loony, right? I mean, the president is making jokes about it, but it is kind of like the truth, right? If they start allowing retired NBA players into the WNBA as female players, whoever's team has the most transgender females is going to be the team that dominates the league, right? To me, it's just like, if you want to do that, why don't you just have the WNBA play the NBA once a year? I'm sure that would generate lots of revenue, that the WNBA and the NBA would be teaming up in such a way like that, you know, kind of like playing, you know, against each other, going head to head, you know, like I think that that would garner up more participation from WNBA fans and NBA fans to kind of like come together than allowing men to play in women's basketball. It just seems like so weird. I don't know, but yeah. So let's say Ola Rock says, folks gotta relax. Of course, they're gonna mock WNBA because they stand up against BS. So now they politicize everything and use information as a weapon. Yeah. Okay. They are not allowing that to happen. Trump just doing what Trump does. Yeah, to distract us from all of the craziness going on in the worldwide, etc. It's YouTube. I'm gonna keep it surface level. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's just a conversation. Like, we're just like, this is what has been on, you know, the president is talking about it. People at the coffee shops are talking about it. You know, people are looking at each other, like, you know, when it comes up at work on certain TVs, you know, they want to say something, but we don't, because, you know, clearly like we're at work. But I mean, it is something that we consider, because it's like, again, I know, like, as a woman, I just worry that there'll be less spaces for us to be just us. You know, I just don't think that's fair. It's cool, be whoever you want to be, but don't also just make it so uncomfortable for me that I feel like I don't have any rights either. So, but we covered this last week. This was the coach, the lady looking down over here with the top coat on. This was the coach that wore that shirt that said, you know, trans kids matter or something like that. And it was in response to Sophie Cunningham coming out and saying that she believes female sports should be for females or biological females only. So she's kind of like getting smacked on the hand for that.
Because apparently now you have former NBA players who are saying, okay, if you guys are all welcoming open arms to men playing in your sport, then we'd like to enter our names as far as being eligible to join the league. And let's see how many WNBA teams come, running for men who now identify as women in order to play WNBA basketball. Let's see how many teams come running to snatch up 6'10", 250-pound men, basically, who can jump higher, run faster, and are stronger in every way. And now, because they identify as women for the purpose of basketball, want to join the league. Let's see what comes about that, right? So we got a lot to get into, ladies and gentlemen. And so let's just go ahead and start right here, because you had ESPN praising Minnesota Lynx coach, ladies and gentlemen, who, after the statements from Sophia Cunningham, she wore and take a look at this, trans kids belong shirt. And so that obviously ended up spurring this fake virtue signal.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. So trans kids belong, when Sophie never said anything about trans kids at all. She just said trans women in the NBA, and so the coach wore the shirt, and now people are showing up to the WNBA games to troll Sophie with the shirt on, being completely disrespectful, very gross, right? And remember, when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, coaches and team owners, they were like, no, don't do this. Don't politicize. Don't bring your personal politics onto the court or onto the field. Don't mess up our franchises with your personal protests. Okay, so then why do these people get to do this to Sophie during the WNBA games? Why do coaches get to do it to her? And look at now, she started a trend where now people are wearing that shirt she wore that day. So
where you now had liberal couples wearing trans kids belong t-shirts at WNBA games that nobody's watching really. And so that this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at, and we'll end up going even further, if the left is if it was up to the left. Yeah, and so apparently Sophia Cunningham may be the only player in this league who has the guts and the courage to actually stand up and define what a woman versus a biological man is, and why, they shouldn't be competing against each other, because even her coach, the Fever's coach, Stephanie White, claims she's not educated enough, ladies and gentlemen, from a scientific standpoint. They want to use science now to decide if men should compete in women's sports. Really? They don't know if the science tells them. Once again, this is the whole thing that women were fighting for, their own spaces, being able to have their own space. I mean, wasn't that the whole point of creating a WNBA? If not, we would just have an NBA.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't understand about the women. That's why it's like the feminist women, I don't understand you. Like, to not know what a woman is, or the definition of a woman, and then to go out here and protest for trans rights, transgender rights. Like, don't you know, like, you are taking more and more and more of your rights away. That is an oxymoron. That person is the patriarchy. The patriarchy that now wants to try, having the luxuries of getting some subsidies that women get, I guess, because women they're more able to get into like homeless shelters, or they're more able, or they're the most of the people on government benefits assistance, like maybe health and food, like food stamps and stuff, I believe, right? Women are more possible to be in a program like that than a man. So now you're allowing trans women to come in and basically rob you from those programs, or rob those programs away from you. The programs that you fought so hard to get because the patriarchy was bad. Remember? Patriarchy bad. Remember? And now all the patriarchy has to do is put on a dress, and you're like, he's one of us too. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, his face is how I was looking when I was listening to this and I was driving this morning, like, what?
Yeah, and let the women, have at it if they could make it, right? Nonetheless, listen to what the coach had to say. Check this out.
What's your stance? What is your stance on men or athletes who test as biological male participating in women's sports? What's your personal stance?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would say that I'm educated enough from a scientific standpoint. I don't ever believe that exclusion is an answer. I just don't. I do think, when we think about various levels of sport, various governing bodies of sport and things that go into that, like I said, I'm not educated enough at the different levels. I know growing up, I played with the boys all the time.
So
there weren't girl sports.
Would you welcome a biological male in WNBA?
Again, it's like, I don't know, when we talk about biological male and scientifically where we are, I think it's a totally different scenario. As I said, I'm not educated enough in terms of transgender and transitioning to give you a smart answer. I would say though that I just don't feel like exclusion is an answer, and I think that we need to have deeper, more layered conversations.
And you'd be okay with them in the locker room?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't make any of this up, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really. And so that is the.
So I want y'all, like, if there are any ladies watching me, I want you ladies to just keep it right there at that last question that was asked. He said, do you want them in your locker room? Do you like, how would you feel with them in your locker room? Like, listen to the last question that was asked.
Coach of the Indiana Fever. So you can't make any of this up, ladies and gentlemen.
I just don't feel like exclusion is an answer, and I think that we need to have deeper, more layered conversations.
And you'd be okay with them in the locker room?
Yeah.
Would you be okay with them in the locker room? So I want y'all to remember that. Would you be okay with them in the locker room? I had to write that down so I remember to ask you guys at the end, right? Would you, I mean, men, would you guys feel weird if women just were like coming in and out of your male locker room at LA Fitness or Planet Fitness or Crunch Fitness, wherever you work out, 24-hour fitness? Would you mind women coming in and out of your locker rooms? Or would you be okay with it? Not trans women, but just women in general. Would you care? I would care. If men were just leisurely walking in and out of the female locker room, that would creep me out. Okay? Man in a wig in there with me, changing, getting undressed, blowing his hair out while I'm trying to put my clothes on at the lockers. You know how the lockers are in LA Fitness? You got the little locker room section, and then you got the section where the little mirror is, so you can kind of see yourself getting dressed. Imagine if a trans woman is standing at that mirror, blow drying her hair out, looking into the mirror, but really looking at you back there changing. Like, how are you going to feel about that? I would feel weird. I'm not going to lie. I would be so uncomfortable. I probably would just work out and never utilize the gym. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to save money and cut costs. So they're like, if we make it horribly uncomfortable for the women, they will take their asses home to shower after the gym instead of showering here, because we're sick of pulling their hair out of the clogs, out of the drains. We're sick of their hair clogging the drains.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can't make any of this up, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really. And so that is the coach of the Indiana Fever, Sophia Cunningham. That's why I said, hey, she must be the only one in this league who has some confidence to speak up and say was basically, obvious. As this coach, she does not know the science, and she's not clear enough on this.
Like, For Blue, that's a funny question, but it's a good question. He says, Blue asks in the chat, what about lesbos in female rooms? And even then, I don't feel uncomfortable, right? Because like we're struggling with the same things, trying to hide the same things as the things with us go up and down throughout the month. You understand what I'm saying? So at least then, like what we have in common are the things that are biologically going on with us month to month to month to month, you know? And so there's a certain level of understanding and respect between each other, even though you like women, like if like they will go out of their way to make sure that they're not making you feel uncomfortable, you know, or at least in situations where I've been at the gym, you know, with lady couples, like they're not creepy, you know, but I mean, that's just my experience. Possibly another young lady watching this or lady watching this in the chat might have a different experience with lesbos at the gym, but they've always been very pretty much respectful to me. So I wouldn't feel any way about that. It's just the man in there dressed as a woman who's in there, you know, no matter how you slice it, it's just uncomfortable because it's a man. Like we were just talking about, you know, panties and cleaning underwear last night on Nino Nation's show. Shout out to Nino Nation. Like we don't want men to see the icky things about us. You know, it's not about hating a trans person and not wanting them around us. It's more so we just don't want to share our secrets with people that are on the outside.
Science, ladies and gentlemen. I find that quite ironic. Now they want to make sure the science matches, which I mean, somebody must have skipped, you know, seventh grade biology, you know, as far as things. I mean, really, how much science do we need to help us figure out the difference between men and women and why there's a W, why you had your whole entire league created specifically for women. But here we are with this tomfoolery as what I could call it, tomfoolery as.
And Blue's comment right here is a perfect example of what I was saying last week. The men usually don't feel uncomfortable by a trans man being in their locker room because there is no imposed threat, because that trans man didn't all of a sudden gain however many years of testosterone and is now equal level of strength to him. He's still going to be able to overpower the trans man. Right? Like, but am I going to be able to overpower a trans woman if she's the size of these NBA players that we are about to see? Absolutely not. That's why it's scary for us, because there's still like imminent danger in a place where we're supposed to be able to feel like there is none.
This WNBA coach tries to use the logic and the example of, well, when I was younger, I would always compete against the boys, and that's how I grew up. Well, of course, because when you're 5 years old or 10 or 13 years old, sure, it may be pretty fair to say that boys and girls can compete on a certain level where it's not going to be that big of a difference. And then there's this little thing that happens called puberty, where testosterone kind of kicks into overdrive for young men as they grow and develop. And you don't kind of really get that same effect with girls as they grow into women. And so as a result, men are able to develop more muscle, more strength, greater lung capacity, all these things that make us biologically different and give men an extreme advantage when it comes to physical abilities and activities overall, pretty much, which is why at the highest levels, we don't let men compete against women.
Right.
Because we understand that, if you're trying to protect women, in their sports, then you might not want to let men come in and ransack the place, because if you do, then yeah, it will be dominated by them, and then you have nothing. But
Right.
apparently the WNBA, that seems to not be a big concern of theirs to clarify. But nonetheless, you got these woke coaches using weak excuses, as you heard her say. Exclusion is not the answer. That's what she believes, ladies and gentlemen, that you can't exclude anyone. It's just not fair, if you ask her.
Why?
But she's not the only one. Let's continue. This is all quite
let's watch
entertaining
this
to really look, because what ends up happening next, is we're going to get into, ladies and gentlemen, is leaving the WNBA with quite the conundrum now, as they've left this door open now. And so, but first, here goes another one of these WNBA coaches who seems to want to be all inclusive and all in on letting everybody, join in on the party. Take a listen.
It's about inclusivity. It's about allowing everyone to be their authentic self. I'm big on that, just because I have been criticized for my height, for my ethnicity. I've been in those "you shouldn't belong here" many times. And for me, I don't want that space, especially Golden State, to ever feel like that. So I'm all about women, little girls deserving to play, and that includes trans women.
Yeah, and so there you go. Now you got a WNBA coach basically using her experience as far as what she experienced because of her ethnicity, and she's comparing that to allowing biological men to be included to play in the women's sports. This is where we're at.
It's like, no matter how you were bullied as a young lady, to this coach that just made this statement, you were still a woman while you were getting picked on for being Asian, while people were telling you you don't belong here. You were still a woman going through that. You were a woman. Women go through things. If you are a trans person, you're going through something, but you're going through something as a biological male. Like, that's the science of it. That's the, like a lizard can't just all of a sudden start living like a bird. Like, that is just like, it's so crazy to me. Like, you can still be whatever, picked on, Asian, tall, you don't belong in women's basketball, you don't belong in America. You can still be all of those things and be a woman. Like, a man didn't go through those things, you did as a woman. So I don't get, how is that not being inclusive, that you say you don't get to call yourself a woman because as a woman you don't get a period, as a woman you don't have ovaries, as a woman you don't have the ability to produce life, or bring life forward into the world, incubate a child, which you would need an ovaries, eggs, right? Like, what is wrong? I just don't get what is happening. And how he keeps talking about them being liberal lefties and all of that. Like, I'm not really big into politics that way, to be like labeling what people are, but to me, it's bad on both sides, because you got Donald Trump joking about it, and then you have the other side like really wasting their time, money, and energy trying to make everybody else's rights be infringed upon. It's like, give us some of your rights, we need some of your rights, give up some of your rights for these people over here. And I don't get that of the Democrats either. I don't get either side. It's not a joking matter, and it's also not a matter that we need to be spending billions and billions of dollars for, just so people feel like the thing that they say they are. Like, a lizard cannot fly like a bird. And no matter how the lizard feels about it, he will not grow wings and start flying. So it's not bad to say that the lizard won't fly. It's just a biological fact.
I mean, listen, maybe I need to go ahead and go, sign me up, make a quick couple $100,000. I still might have a little something left in the tank. I played some basketball back in the day. Maybe I could earn a couple bucks, because that's what you have a couple former NBA players considering now. Because this is where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen. If the WNBA is claiming that they are all inclusive, they're not allowing any discrimination when it comes to if a biological man, a trans woman, wants to compete and join the WNBA and a team wants to sign them, then have at it. They're including them. They're not discriminating. And so this is where it gets quite interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because now you have former NBA players, and here goes one of them, Royce White, a former first-round pick, says he's declaring for the 2027 WNBA draft, claiming he now identifies as transgender for the purpose of playing professional basketball. And he's 6'8", must weigh about what, a good 250, 260, clearly will be the strongest person in the league, jump the highest. And so let's just take a listen to this.
Well, earlier this week, I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable. You know, but I'm a team first guy. You know, I'm a pass first kind of player. I do the little things. You know, I led my team in all 5 major stat categories.
Did you hear what he said? He's going to go and play for a women's basketball team. He wants to try out for the WNBA draft in 2027, right? Coming right around the corner. And he just said that he's a teammate kind of guy. Did you hear that? Like, let's go back and listen.
At Iowa State University, but I'm 7 as well, basketball. So I'll be identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable. You know, but I'm a team first guy. You know, I'm a pass first kind of player.
I'm a team first kind of guy. So it's like, are you serious? Like, what is he talking about? He thinks he's a woman, right? I thought he thinks he's a woman. Why is he not identifying as I'm a team first kind of girl? It's like, really? No.
Who's this nigga?
This is women's basketball, sir. Listen to what he said. Hold on. Like, what?
Player, but 27 as well. Sometimes at the announcement,
And so let's just take a listen to this.
Well, earlier this week, I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable. You know, but I'm a team first guy.
He thinks he would be unstoppable. So is this just a way for men to come into women's sports and just shit on them? Is that what this is about? Like, do we not?
You don't find that suspicious?
Yeah, like, do we not find that suspicious? What is wrong with him? What the hell is going on, man? Could you imagine him checking me in basketball? Like when he like throws the ball out, like this shit will hit me in the head. I am 5 feet. He would crush me. You guys, I can't. Okay, here we go.
You know, I'm a pass first kind of player. I do the little things. You know, I led my team in all 5 major stat categories at Iowa State University. So I do a little bit of everything. I'll do whatever the coach needs me to do. I'll do whatever the girls need me to do. I think the WNBA could come out and make a definitive statement about guys with a pair of balls playing in the women's association. But you know, hey, that'd be probably too much like right. So, and I don't want to be discriminated against. No, I want fair treatment. I'm a black, I'm a young black, hopefully United States senator that would like a fair chance to participate as a sometimes identifying as a transgender woman athlete.
And so there you have that. And so do I think a WNBA team will actually seriously draft a player like this, even though it would be to their advantage as far as competitive wise? No, they're not going to do it, because then they would basically be making a mockery of their game. It would become even more of a laughing stock. But nonetheless, this is now the place you are when you decide that you can't even define what a woman is, that you want to say we're all inclusive. You want to make all these broad range, delusional, far left statements that leave the door open for definitions, for it to be interpreted. And that's where it's going to get really tricky. And I'm going to get into that into a moment. But first, here goes another NBA first round draft pick, Enes Kanter. And he's also, I believe he's a 7-footer. And so, he would be quite the dominant player, but he's also declared himself. And so, just take a listen to this also.
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self.
Yeah, they gotta be blue. They gotta be trolling. They gotta be trolling. Either they're trolling or they're like in severe debt, and this is a way for them to start collecting a paycheck or something like that. I don't know. But how he could be sitting up here with a straight face talking like this about becoming a WNBA player, I just like, it's like, how did you sit here with a straight face? Somebody has got to be paying him. What's up, homie? It's good to see you. What's up? I can't. So like, look at what he has. He has on like the girl dunker one. Like, like usually we wear the Michael Jordan doing the dunk with the like, that little pose. But look at this. This is a lady on his shirt, on his hat. Thank you, CEO. CEO says no. He really submitted the paperwork. Oh, he's really serious? This isn't a joke? Thank you, CEO, for the super chat. I got a drop for you. You want to hear about it? Here it goes. Okay, here it goes. Okay, let's let this play a little bit, y'all. Oh my God.
Identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for. My team and I are prepared to ensure these guidelines are applied equally, consistently, and without exception. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
Listen, these two have a point. Because when the left has made the decision up that in their world, in their reality, any man who simply wants to identify, he wants you to call him a woman because that's what he sees himself as. Therefore, that's what he is. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he dresses like a woman would typically dress. It doesn't matter if he appears to look like what a woman would, you perceive a woman to look like. None of that matters because one, they can't define what a woman is, and they want to be all inclusive. And so you can't discriminate because, well, it's clear and obvious these two are men. Whoa, that sounds a little bit like you are discriminating and assuming their gender. How dare you? These are just two men who identify as women, but still enjoy to dress in, what you would say how men dress. That doesn't make them any less of a woman than biological women in your delusional reality. So, guess we got to go with it. This is where they want to take us, ladies and gentlemen. This is where this thing could go, because they have no guardrails, because they want to be all inclusive, because they can't think with logic and common sense, which seem to escape them. This is where things can go very quickly if they're allowed to gain back power, if you give them opportunity where they are allowed to write the policies and the laws. And so now you have the WNBA commissioner. She sent a memo to all of the teams that the league will be establishing a task force to discuss men, transgender women competing in the WNBA, and refused to say flat out that men should not be allowed to compete in the WNBA. And so just take a listen to this, ladies and gentlemen.
We recognize that this is a complex and nuanced topic, and we will continue to have important conversations with all of you in the Players Association in the weeks and months ahead. The league will always approach this topic thoughtfully, respectfully, and in alignment with the longstanding values of our league, our player eligibility.
So, ladies, and I'm specifically talking to the ladies in the WNBA. Weren't you guys just complaining about your contracts and not getting paid and all of this? Why don't you all take a page out of these gentlemen's book, and why don't you apply to enter the NBA draft in 2027 and then put pressure on the NBA to allow women to play in the NBA? Like, why don't we just flip it around? You know how Fatty always wants to flip the argument around? Why don't we flip this shit around? Like, right? Y'all make more money than us in WNBA. You can't tell me I'm not a trans man. I identify as a man. I want to play men's basketball instead of women's basketball. So I want to try out for your league too. I think that's fair. If that's what we're doing here, because clearly the men are doing it because they have the advantage. I mean, and it would be an easy paycheck for them to play against women all day after they've retired from leagues, from the NBA leagues, playing against men. I don't know. It's just my opinion, guys. This is my opinion. We're all allowed to have an opinion, okay? An opinion is not right. It is not wrong, all right? What my opinion doesn't have to be your opinion, and that's okay. Like, we're all different. It's all right.
Eligibility rules, unlike the eligibility rules of some other leagues and governing bodies, are collectively bargained. Preserving the integrity of our game and ensuring fair competition will always remain among the league's highest priorities.
But see, that's the thing, is it's not complex.
No.
It's like the simplest thing in the entire world. Men and men's sports, women and women's sports. There's no complexity or nuance to it whatsoever. And if you guys ever realized that it's never the top guys who want to suddenly become women and compete against women. You don't see LeBron James out there being like, I'm going to be a woman and play. It's always mediocre men who then play against women and clean up. Of course, you'd want to play someone with their arm tied behind their back because it makes it easier for you. What I can't understand is why women are going along with it. But you can look at Leah Thomas with the swimming, or Laura Hubbard, who was a man and then all of a sudden became this like Olympic weightlifter. Or you can look, there's this French basketball player now who's cleaning house because obviously it's a dude playing against women. So it's ridiculous.
And here goes that French trans basketball player says if the WNBA offers something, he won't say no. He averages 20 rebounds a game, 21 points per game, stands at 6'3" tall. I mean, hey, got to play to win. Hey, he wants to compete. You want to win. You want to win.
Who is this nigga?
What? Did you hear them stats? Did you hear them stats? Ain't no way that's fair. That is not fair, man.
the championship out there, there should be a team knocking. There should be teams knocking down his door. Yeah, and so I find all of this extremely hilarious. This is quite just entertaining, in my opinion, just to sit back and watch, because the left has done this to themselves. This is all on them as far as putting themselves now in this very entertaining for me position where you get.
Thank you, CEO, for the super chat. Thank you. Super chat. CEO super chat says, this all started with that Woman of the Year cover. Yeah, right? Yeah. So now they've taken the magazine cover and they're running with it. And that's what people say. You give anybody with a crazy ass idea an inch and they're going to definitely stretch it out into a mile, and they're going to keep going, and it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. It's weird. It's like you just would think that just some things you just can't argue. You can't argue that the sun is coming up tomorrow morning. You can't argue that it's not. You can't argue that the moon is not going to shine at night. You can't argue that it's not coming every night. You can't argue that. You can't argue that there won't be waves in the ocean. There will always be waves in the ocean. So how can you argue what a woman is or isn't, what a man is or isn't? It just is what it biologically is. It's simple.
To sit back and watch them try and use whatever. And please believe, ladies and gentlemen, ultimately what the WNBA is going to come out with as far as their statement and as far as their whatever the task force ends up coming to is going to be very hypocritical, is going to contradict everything that you hear these players and coaches and that the league says they stand for. They're not going to put themselves in a position where you can have former NBA players like the two gentlemen I showed you, Royce White and Enes Kanter, would actually be able to come into their league. It's not going to happen. And so they'll put out some statement now, and probably hopefully this thing goes away. But whatever they do come out with will end up contradicting. I can almost guarantee you is going to contradict exactly the thing that they say they stand for. But let's go ahead and check out this clip right here, because Stephen A. Smith, he has been outspoken about this issue and protecting women's sports. And so just go ahead and take a listen to this right here.
Careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA.
So you see what Enes Kanter had to say, right? You see how much of a mess this is becoming, right? And everybody want to act like, oh my goodness, we don't want to hate on trans. We don't want to hate on trans folks. That's not what that's about. Anybody who's hating on them should be ashamed of themselves. The WNBA, the NBA, and everybody else in between is absolutely right where they talk about not violating people's civil rights and liberties, not being hateful, not engaging in hate in any way, shape, form, or fashion, whether verbally, physically, or otherwise. We all know that. But what Enes Kanter is pointing to is about competition. So for somebody to transition from male to female, and for folks to act like it would be okay for them to participate in the WNBA is ridiculous. And when you have athletes from the WNBA saying that they're looking out for and speaking up on behalf of girls, because it would clearly be an unfair advantage to a trans athlete over people born female, what's the problem? What's the problem? We got to have common sense. And yes, Enes Kanter is going a bit too far, but he's right to do so to make a point. And Royce White, former NBA player, now a conservative pundit, he's right too because he's trying to make a point. Certain things are beyond ridiculous, and you got to call it out just to send the message. Do you get it now? Are you sure you want to continue this subject? Are you sure you want to continue on this path? Sure you don't want to be political pawns? Fine. Then understand that the WNBA is for girls and people born female, and leave it at that. And stop acting like you don't know. Otherwise, there'll be a lot more Enes Kanters. And we all know y'all don't want that.
Yeah, and so now the WNBA is receiving this and back.
Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to drop Charles Forte's pro-trans NBA video in the description once we conclude this the show tonight so that you guys can go back, give this content creator a subscribe, complete the rest of the video, comment if you agree or disagree. Let them know Smell the Roses sent you. I was using this in the guise of fair use to, start the discussion about, how we feel about, women not being able to identify what a woman is. Like this has clearly come back to haunt us because now because we can't give the term woman a definition and we refuse to define it out in public. Now everybody out in public is saying, well, I'm a woman. Well, I'm a woman too. And no. We need to stick with the scientific biological definition of the term female. And whatever is female is designated a woman and uses pronouns her, she. Okay? But yeah. So let me stop sharing this. Sorry, there's a cat running around outside and everybody in the house is doing their own thing right now. So I'm all alone with the dog. They just leave me all alone while I'm streaming, no matter how many times I ask them to help me with the dog while I'm streaming. But that's a discussion for another day. All right. So I have another video to show you guys. I said this video was from a Dr. Steve Turley. He seemed pretty fiery about this topic. Let me see if this one's it. Yeah, he seemed pretty pissed. I'm not really so familiar with his work. I think we have covered one video of his in the past briefly. But his name is Dr. Steve Turley, and the topic or the title of this video that we're going to review now is called "The WNBA Panics Set to Ban Trans Athletes After 2 NBA Players Declare for the Draft." And those 2 NBA players were the guys that we just watched. And who Stephen A. Smith was just talking about was basically saying, they're trolling, but they have the right to do so because this is just utterly ridiculous. And I kind of agree. It's like, if we're not going to get up and fight for our rights, and say, this is what a woman is. No, you can't have this. No, you can't just claim this. Then yeah, we should deserve to get our butts kicked. So yeah, fight for your rights. So I'm going to let this video play. We're going to watch a little bit of it. I will definitely be linking this video in the description so that you guys can go back and give this content creator a subscription or like the video, leave a comment, let them know that Smell the Roses sent you, and that you like the discussion or that you have more questions. Okay, let me turn this up. What's up, Red? It's good to see you. See you later. I will be seeing you later. It's good to see you. Happy Monday, sister. If you guys aren't subscribed to Red Lipstick Vibes, I'll be over there later, and I'm often over there sometimes, or often rather over there. Give her a like, follow, and subscribe if you have not. If you don't know about Red Lipstick Vibes, I think you would love her content. It's very educational. She loves presentations. She's very thorough. You will love her work, I promise you. Okay, we're gonna let this video get started.
Brilliant. This one move by these male athletes, this single move has blown the league's entire woke house of cards wide open. And now the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association, is scrambling to hold an emergency meeting just to figure out, I kid you not, exactly what is a woman. This takes Clown World to a whole new level, but as we're about to see, reality bites back, and it bites hard. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot professor, here to help you make sense of the matter. What to do. Smith, who plays guard for the Indiana Fever. She lit quite the fuse a few weeks back when an ESPN feature quoted her opposition towards biological men competing in women's sports. She said she wanted to protect young girls both on court as well as in the locker room. They shouldn't have to expose themselves before biological men or compete against them. And she doubled down the next day, calling her position, well, kind of common sense, right? And she insisted that she would never falter in that belief while denying any hatred toward the trans community. Again, it has nothing to do with hatred. It has everything to do with reality. That's it. Well, you can qualify your comments all you want. Obviously, that's not going to appease the woke cult of grievance. Her comments triggered a massive backlash in the ultra-left WNBA. I don't know if you know, but polls show that it is the most left-wing sport on the planet. But she drew public criticism from her own teammates, who apparently were perfectly fine with competing against biological males, so they claim. Now, the irony is that this controversy has exposed a rather embarrassing loophole for this league. Many of these female athletes apparently were not aware that the WNBA's newly signed collective bargaining agreement states explicitly, quote, only players who are women are eligible to play.
Ooh.
Now, of course, the loophole.
So by acting stupid and refusing to define what a woman is, now you've got this term inside of the WNBA contract that says the player must be a woman. And since women refuse to identify or describe what a woman is and say we're going to go with the biological definition of female, they're about to screw themselves. So this space that you fought so hard to get, you know, an extension of the NBA being a women's league of their own, now you have just opened the door for men to infiltrate your organization. So it's the reason why everybody's saying it's not common sense, because it's backwards to what you said, what we as women, not me, but women in general say they wanted when they wanted fair and equal rights, when they wanted to be considered equal to the men. Well now not only are you equal, but like you don't exist. Now they're whatever they say that you are, because they can be women too. So you could be a man. If he can be a woman, you could be a man. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just the dichotomy of those, that train of thinking is just weird, because you fought so hard for it. You wanted this to be your own lane, this women's only league, and now you're letting men in there. Trans women, I'm sorry. You're letting trans women in who are biologically men, if you can understand that.
Whole here is it never actually defines what a woman is. So that ambiguity.
What is not true? What is not true? What is not true? Yes, this is really true that men are trying to sign up and play for and be drafted into the WNBA. These are facts. These are facts. Ex-NBA players, the two players, if you're just coming in, you'll have to rewind it. There are two NBA players coming out saying that they are going out for the WNBA draft of 2027. Trans women, these men say they're trans women and they are going to play for the WNBA 2027. That is true. Colin 7403, I'm about to block you. Okay.
Gave the woke leftists that predominate the league the cover to issue a statement denouncing hate, abuse and the demonization of transgender people. But critics notice that they denounce that supposed intolerance without ever addressing the whole eligibility question directly. What precisely is a woman? Can trans athletes actually compete in the WNBA? Well, that loophole, of the lack of definition, and the absurdity of the league's virtue signaling against Sophie Cunningham triggered a response from two former NBA players and a full-blown crisis for the league. So on Friday, former NBA player Enes Kanter Freedom took to social media and announced that he is officially declaring himself a WNBA prospect for the 2027 draft. Quote, after careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I'm officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. End quote. Freedom went on to say that he and his team had, quote, carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion, and that he was simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone, including himself. And he signed off with, see you at the training camp. Now, it's got to be one of the single best trolling in the history of professional sports, but as it turns out, it was just the beginning. Literally hours later, another former NBA first-round pick, Royce White, who was actually drafted by the Houston Rockets, announced that he too is declaring for the 2027 WNBA draft. White posted on X, quote, I identify as a sometimes identifying transgender woman. My wig is in the mail. And then in a video statement and an appearance on Fox News, White doubled down saying, I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for the purposes of professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. And he even threatened legal action, telling Fox News Digital that if the league denies him, he'll be filing a discrimination lawsuit as the WNBA against the WNBA based on their own virtue signaling, based on their own public pro-trans comments and their refusal to define what a woman is. Now, bravo to these two professional athletes, right? And boy, does it not tell you how times have changed since, say, like 2020 or 2021, where I doubt, to be honest, well, maybe they would have, but I doubt most people would not do this back then because the cancel culture was so out of control. Neither of these men actually believe they're a woman, obviously.
No, I don't think that they do. I know that they don't.
This is a brilliant, biting protest using reality as your picket. What these two biological males are doing is they're holding up a mirror to the WNBA's own rules. And they're forcing the league to either accept two grown men on their rosters.
Right.
And you can be assured that that number will only grow. Or admit publicly that biological sex is real and that it matters in sports competition.
Right.
And gang, that is exactly the trap the ultra woke left built for themselves.
Yeah.
So now the WNBA finds itself with exactly three options. And every single one of them is a nightmare for this league, given their woke preconditions here. Option one, declare that these two men are not women. I just bottom line, you can't play because you're not women. And it means actually defining what a woman is and thereby admitting biology is real and turning their back on their power.
I mean, did you guys ever think that this was going to be something that we were going to have to actually, like someone said in the comments earlier, that this was kind of like Joanna Man, like did anybody actually think that we were going to be living in a time where Joanna Man was like going to be an everyday reality? Like I completely understand that if you are somebody that feels that you don't have any rights, that you want to have some. I completely understand that. That this is something that women have fought for so long, to feel like they were, not necessarily the same as a man, but have equal equities as men in everyday life, in their lifestyle. You know, I truly believe that adults should have the freedom to live their lives however they choose. If you're transgender, you should have the same dignity, freedom, legal protection as anyone else, right? But there's like a little place where the line has to be drawn for anybody, for everybody, right? Because we're all different. We all have our own hierarchy of needs. That is a thing. You can ask your therapist what the hierarchy of needs are. And so because we all have our own hierarchy of needs, there has to be a line drawn when accommodating, you know, a small select group of people's gender identity. Like if we take this small group of people's gender identity and apply it to all of us, it's going to conflict with our rights, our privacy, our safety, you know, and fair opportunities like having a league called the WNBA. The WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association. That should mean something. So just because that means something to us as women doesn't mean that we don't support transgender adults, right? It doesn't mean that every policy question is going to be automatically settled. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you guys probably need to work on the things that you all need to work on so that things are fair and equal to you, the same way that women had to do that. That's all we're saying. And so, I agree with Sophie. I happen to believe that women's sports should be designated for women only. So,
public statements denouncing transphobia. Now they are the transphobes. Option 2, let them play, which would, of course, be an absolute disaster for the integrity of the league and for the safety of the women who'd have to compete against these two men. Their teams, whatever teams they're on, they would win every single game from here on in, and on in perpetuity. Yeah. Option 3, announce that only players born female can compete. Essentially the same as option 1, but it's just worded carefully. I think, by the way,
and the fact that he has to say worded carefully, it's like he's playing the same game they're playing. No, it doesn't need to be worded any kind of way other than scientifically. You were born with ovaries, XX chromosome or XY chromosome. You know what I mean? Like, drill it down to the finest definition of what a female humanoid is. And if you're not that, then you can't have the designation woman, period. Yeah, exactly, Teddy. Teddy says, I learned pronouns in school already. I'm not relearning it to accommodate crazy people. A lot of people feel that way. Last week on the video I showed when we were reviewing when Candace Owens was debating Mark Lamont Hill on the same topic, she said, we have a word for the object, book. We don't call a book a cup, and we don't call a cup a book. It is what it is, like, period. So I completely agree. I don't think that we should have to relearn everything that we know for our whole lives just to accommodate a small group of people. They need to get the rights that they feel like they deserve on their own, and then we'll blend those in once those policies and all of that gets hammered out. But your plight in life shouldn't infringe on mine, and mine shouldn't infringe on yours, which is why you want rights in the first place, because you feel infringed upon. You see how that works? If you don't want it happening to you, don't do it to others. I think that is just like basic common decency. What's up, Project Leroy? It's good to see you, sir. How are you? Happy Monday. It's good to see you.
I think they're going to go with that option. And but if they didn't, if the league if they did nothing, simply refuses to draft them, well, then they open themselves up to a lawsuit alleging discrimination, and they also demonstrate themselves to be all talk and total hypocrites. So this is the very definition of checkmate, precisely because it's the very definition of reality.
It is. It is. So I'm going to leave this video here. My son doesn't agree with me showing you all his content. He just sent me a very crass text message. So we're going to move on from this content creator. But this is Dr. Steve Turley. I'm going to leave the link to this video in the description. You all can go and check him out if you want to. If you do not want to, I thought he was a little cheeky in this video, and he covered all of the hot talking points that I wanted to cover. So let's move on from him and go on to my last video, which is a funny sort of video, but it's addressing and discussing the same thing, except it's from Jesse Lee Peterson. I know we haven't watched him in a long time, but he basically talks to a transgender person. No, I don't like to embarrass him. I don't like, that's why I moved on. I was going to cover more of the video, but he's like, no, mom, no more of that guy. So let me pull this other video up. So Jesse Lee Peterson is going to talk to a transgender man. They're going to have a very cheeky conversation. And then after we watch that movie, hold on, let me see. I messed up, y'all. Hold on. I'm gonna redirect you all to a Red Lipstick Vibes after this stream, and I'll be on later to discuss what happened on the show on Friday night between me and Ann this past Friday. Hopefully you all will come and support me over on Red Lipstick Vibes and give her a like or a follow. A like or a subscribe to her channel. Let me see. Where is this video? I can't believe I did that. Shoot. I had it right here. What'd I do with it? It's because I had to turn on the redirect that I messed it up. I'm so sorry, y'all. I hate when I don't have the videos queued up to just flow. So let me go back here and then, okay, here we go. Okay, I found it. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, so this commentary is hilarious. It's about this content creator. His name is The Apostle. And he's covering what Jesse Lee Peterson and this transgender person discussed on Jesse Lee Peter's show. So we're reviewing a review of Jesse Lee Peterson is basically what we're doing. So here we go. Winston, can you please not eat your teddy bear's head off? Can you please stop biting it so hard? Good Lord, please. Winston, please. Y'all, he is, I get him teddy bears and he just like destroys them. Like, okay, so he's still just like ripping the head off. I don't know if you guys can hear that noise. If you can't hear it, I'm so sorry. Okay, so do y'all see this? What's on the screen? Do y'all see what's on the screen? So Jesse is going to have a conversation here with this trans woman. And let me make sure that, let me give him a like because we are reviewing his video. So I'd like to always give the content creator a like Let me turn it up so y'all can hear it. Okay, here we go.
You're a drag queen. You can call it whatever you want, but in reality, it's a drag queen, right?
No, a drag queen is like an adult entertainer, Jesse. I'm not an adult entertainer. Okay, I don't go to clubs and do shows and dance.
Oh,
I'm a proper lady. I'm just an average woman. What is funny?
Oh, God.
Jesse Lee Peterson absolutely wrecks this trans woman for his insane statements in this debate, as Jesse Lee Peterson humiliates this beta male turned trans woman for pretending to be something he is definitely not, while he attempts to justify his new persona and deflect common sense reasoning. Jesse Lee Peterson calls this man out live for his absurdity. Let's get in.
I have with me, he is back, but this time he's coming in as a transgender person, and under the name of Willow Kessler. Willow Kessler, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Jesse. And just to start off, it's she. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
It's she. You kept saying him. It's she.
No, I said he came in as a transgender person this time, right?
Yes, but it's she. I'm a woman now.
Were you born a male?
Yes, I was.
And if you were born a male, how is it that you're a woman?
It's gender dysphoria. And
what does that mean?
You know, technically I'm not a woman, but that's what I identify as.
But why identify as something that you're not? It's not sane to do that.
Because I don't know if you are aware of gender dysphoria, Jesse, but essentially, I do not feel that I belong in my body or my voice. Okay, so to make myself happy, and so I don't jump off this fucking roof. Okay, I'm going to identify as a woman.
So knowing that you are a male and pretending that you are a woman, that makes you happy?
Not completely, but it makes me content. It makes me happier.
But why doesn't it make? Why do it if it's not completely making you happy completely?
Well,
get the phone for me. I'm sorry.
What's the alternative? Just for me to, continue on in a charade and just pretend I'm a masculine man and that I don't identify as a woman?
Well, why not? If faking being a woman is not making you completely happy, why not figure out why you're not completely happy as a man? Because pretending to be a woman is not making you happy either.
Well, first of all, I'm just starting my transition. I've just started the hormone therapy. I don't even have tits yet. So once those things start coming together, my happiness will build and I'll start becoming a complete person where I'm happier and content in who I am.
But you're never going to be happy pretending to be a woman. Just ask Bruce Jenner. He's not happy.
I think he looks pretty happy, to be honest with you.
Oh, no, he doesn't look happy to me.
No?
I mean, I just so this is the one thing that this man is saying that does really sound like modern women today, right? They're always chasing their happiness. Like, none of us are happy all the time. Like, the best you can hope for is contentment, right? Because you're going to have ups and downs. All of us do. All of us feel inadequate in our womanhood, in our motherhood, in our femininehood. Sometimes I fall short. Sometimes I'm down on myself. Sometimes I'm not as confident. Like, don't we all have those moments where we're just not as confident, or we're kind of like down on ourselves, or we're just like a bit insecure? Like, I think that's normal for all of us to feel disconnected, uncomfortable, insecure, unhappy. Like, that is just a natural part of life. But he sounds a lot like modern women today, where they put all of this this grand responsibility on the term and being happy. Happiness, the term happiness, being happy is so important to them. Like every day when I wake up, I don't think about what is going to make me happy. I think, what does my family need from me today? What can I get done for my family today? What can I get done for myself today? And in doing those things, I feel good. I have contentment. I got all this stuff done today. My son did his homework without me asking. His laptop is charged. He's ready for school the next day. I feel accomplished today. Tomorrow, it might all go to shit. But it's just, I don't wake up saying, I got to think about my happiness today. And if it doesn't make me happy, I won't do it. Like, it doesn't, like, life doesn't. Am I the only one that? Yeah, I am sentiment. I am saying he sounds bitch made. I am. but I think Jesse's going to say the same thing in this video. I'm not sure, because I watched 2 on this topic with this guy, because I'll let Jesse tell you, but here we go.
Why would you say he's unhappy?
Look at him. He looked like a monster.
Well, her name's Caitlin now, and she doesn't look like a monster.
Oh, yes, he does.
Legs. She has terrible legs. I'll give you that. Her legs are gross, but I think she's a pretty woman for her age. 72 years old. I'm pretty impressed. You in a sundress, Jesse, and you're not going to be strutting around LA looking like that stuff either. So.
Oh, your fans are sending in something that says, I stand with Willow pictures. What is that about?
Well, it's because, Jesse, I don't know if you've realized it, but over the last little while, the term gender dysphoria has been kind of thrown to be a slur, like it's not acceptable anymore. And I come from the trans med community, and that means that I believe we have a medical issue. Okay, it's a mental issue. There's something that's not right where I don't identify in the body. I don't think gender is a spectrum. There's male and female. That's it. And I'm tired of all these non-binaries, unicorn, owlkin, coming out here trying to steal my oppression points that we've been working on for decades. So these NBs and the Q+, they can go get their own umbrella. LGBT, that's it.
So remember when I was just saying, like, we as women have to stick together and we have to protect what being a woman is? Did you just hear what Willow said, ladies? Willow said that he doesn't want the LGBTQIAZ elemental P coming in on what them in the trans right movement has built. They need to get their own movement popping. They need to defend their own selves. Basically, he's saying, if you ain't trans, you on your own. So why is it that when women speak to protect women, biological women, we get touted out as being prejudiced, transphobic, all of these other things? No, we're just protecting what we've worked so hard for. At the end of the day, freedom only means something if it belongs to everybody. So you can't be the only one with freedom if you're a trans person just because you feel infringed upon. If you want freedom, hell, I want freedom too, you know? And my freedom as a woman includes you not being in my locker room, you not being in my bathroom.
That's why they stand for Willow.
So you want the right to be screwed up. Why don't they have the right to be that way?
They can be, but don't call themselves trans. A trans person is someone with dysphoria, not somebody that got a buzz cut and dyed it purple and now all of a sudden they're genderqueer. It doesn't work like that.
But what, don't they have a right to degrade themselves just as you're doing for yourself?
Yes,
to yourself?
Yes, they do. But
so why are you mad at them for having the right to be screwed up?
Because they are hijacking the trans movement.
Wow.
Amazing.
They're not trans. They're not transitioning.
Amazing. Amazing. Did you hear what he said? He said that the LGBTQ ladies are hijacking the trans movement. So what is the trans movement doing to the woman's movement, to the feminist movement? What is trans doing to that? Are they not infringing upon? Can we not say the same thing? I think Jesse asked some great questions in this back and forth with Willow.
to nothing.
So
They're going from a male to whatever they want. That's not how it works. That's not dysphoria.
So define NBs for me. What does that mean exactly?
NB is the acronym for non-binary, and that's what they're called. NBs. That's what they're called in the community.
Right.
And they are the ones that, if you say gender dysphoria, they will get offended. They will attack you. They will send death threats. They are the ones out on the streets with the signs yelling at everybody. It's not us, okay? I just want to blend in as a woman. That's all I want to do. I do a pretty good job of it.
No, you don't look like a woman at all.
Besides my chin, if I hide my chin, yes, I do.
You gotta
yes,
do,
Jesse.
You gotta do more than that.
Well, that's your opinion.
No, I can. Stevie Wonder can see that you're not a woman.
Well, I've sold hundreds of dollars of feet photos to men who thought I was a woman. So.
Oh my God.
You said that there should be any cis women in sport.
Did y'all hear that? All you men out there that send women money to look at their feet photos, you could be sending a trans man money for his feet photos.
That's right.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You said there shouldn't be any cis women in sports.
Oh, yeah, cis women in sports.
What's a cis woman?
A cis woman is a woman that was born as a woman. She's biologically a woman. It's just.
So I don't understand. You guys so you're saying a real woman should not be in sports?
No, they're slower, they're weaker, they're emotional.
Damn.
You know, if you want
Did
to
y'all
watch.
hear that? Did y'all hear that? This trans woman is saying that women shouldn't even be in women's sports. Women's sports should be solely for trans women. Listen, let's go back.
Women's sports, they're
sports. So you're saying a real woman should not be in sports?
No, they're slower, they're weaker, they're emotional. You know, if you want to watch women's sports, watch trans women's sports. Give us a chance. We're faster, we're bigger, we're stronger, we can score more goals.
But that's because you were born as a male.
We're faster, we're bigger, we can score more goals. Isn't he making my arguments from earlier? Because why is a trans woman bigger, faster, can score more points, less emotional? Because that trans woman is a man. I mean, come on, people. Like, really? Are we really going here? Is he serious? And a woman will hear this and be like, you know what? He's a woman. You know, women, they deserve to have the right to feel how they want to feel. Yeah. No, this is bad.
Yeah, I know.
But shouldn't women, it's okay for women to play, participate in sports against one another, but they shouldn't be allowed to play against men. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess they can compete against each other, but when a woman like me joins their league, all of a sudden there's a lot of talk and issues, and that I, am too rough and too physical. So, you know what? Screw it. Let's just make trans leagues.
There you go.
They're going to be weak like that.
But who would want to watch a bunch of...
I said that last week. Fight to have your own league, and then fight to have that league included. But first you need your own league. Then fight to have your league included. And then, yeah, I think that would work perfectly.
Drag queens playing sports.
Well, I'm not a drag queen. I'm a trans woman. There's a big difference, Jesse.
But you are a man in a dress, so you're a drag queen. You can call it whatever you want. But in reality, it's a drag queen, right?
No, a drag queen is like an adult entertainer, Jesse. I'm not an adult entertainer, okay? I don't go to clubs and do shows and dance.
Oh.
I'm a proper lady. I'm just an average woman. What is funny?
Oh, God.
Yeah, let me know down below how insane you think this guy is, because clearly Jesse Lee Peterson can see the same thing. Like, really, bro? You want to pretend like you're going to pass off as a woman? Like, the delusion of these individuals is just so absolutely embarrassing. Like, this guy, this beta male, all right? So he used to come on here apparently, and then he comes on now after putting on a wig. He's going to be a woman because he wasn't happy with his own skin, probably because he wasn't the guy who was really, getting whatever he needed to get. And then just to appease his own feelings, he decided to go this route in order to make himself as happy as he could possibly be. Right?
Okay, so he's explaining what we are about to hear now. Okay, we're about to hear how this trans woman became a trans woman, and this isn't the first time that Jesse Lee Peterson has spoken to this person. But the last time he spoke to this person, he was what Jesse Lee Peterson calls a beta male. So listen to this.
I mean, just make it make sense. Just make it make sense, folks. And now he wants to just chop this off and cut this off. Oh my God. Like, the idea that this is the fix, the idea that this is the solution, the idea that you are pretending while being in your own body that you are in fact pretending, like, that's the lie. That's the crazy part. They find more truth in lying to themselves rather than simply admitting the truth that's already there. Absolutely insane, folks. And if you want to help support the channel and grow this community, don't forget to subscribe, as most of you aren't. I'd appreciate it. Hit that like button and let's
subscribe to me as well. Okay, we're gonna subscribe to him, but I need y'all to subscribe to me as well. I am close to 4,000 subscribers. I am 4 subscribers away from 3,900. So if you could subscribe to my channel, that would make me super, 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 super happy if you subscribe to my channel. Okay, here we go.
get back in.
What are you laughing at, Jesse?
I'm laughing at you. It's just funny. You just reminded me of something. There are a lot of drag queens, not a lot, but there are drag queens going to libraries, reading so-called stories to children. Should a drag queen be allowed to read a story to children at a library?
I'm going to say no on that.
And why?
This is a touchy subject in the community. And I feel that drag queens are very sexualized people. Show me a drag queen that doesn't sell sex in some way. Why would you want people who sell sex to be influencing children? Children should not be sexualized at all. Children should be children. That's it.
I agree.
I agree with that too. I'm so happy that he broke it down that way. Being in the community that he's in, I agree.
Why do you think, because drag queens are like really low-life people, why do you think parents and the heads of these libraries allow drag queens to talk to children? Why are they allowing that at all?
I think it's progressive points. And that's what I'm talking about, that the LGBT community has been hijacked by these extremist progressives. And we have been silenced in the background while these loud little dipshits with buzz cuts scream in your faces. And so you have places that are giving into this. And they're playing into this progressiveness for these progressive points. That's all it is. They're not actually trying to help us. If they wanted to help the LGBT community, it's a lot they can do besides bring a stripper into a library.
Yeah.
Oh.
The last time you were here, you came in as a man, a male, but you were homosexual or something, right?
No, I was not homosexual. I was straight at the time. You said I seemed feminine. That's what we had the argument.
Oh, yeah, right. And what was your name before? I had it here, but they took it out. I don't remember.
My dead name is William Michael.
William Michael. And so you came in as William Michael as a feminine male. What made you decide, you know what, I'm just going to be a woman?
Because I finally just kind of realized, you know, I wasn't happy as a boy. You know, I just kind of wanted to do the transition, and I met some friends that were also trans, and it just kind of one thing led to the other. And next thing you know, I want to chop my penis off. Because I do have bottom dysphoria too, where I don't identify with that.
So whenever you go to the bathroom and you see it, you like wonder what is this? Who does it belong to?
It's not who does it belong to. It's just like, why is this here? The way I put it, Jesse, is if you inhaled a helium balloon, okay, and your voice went high pitch, and then it stayed like that forever, and you had to go out and talk to your friends and come on your show, you would feel like that voice doesn't belong to you. You'd feel emasculated. You'd feel uncomfortable. That's the way I kind of describe the dysphoria I feel.
What does
not that it doesn't belong to me.
Do you feel embarrassed walking down the street looking the way you look now?
No, not at all. I'm proud. Men like it. I get lots of attention, and I got a great ass. So.
Willow said he does not feel uncomfortable walking down the street as a woman, looking the way that he's looking here with us now, that men holler at him because he has a good ass. That is what Willow was saying. And by the way, guys, if you're new to this space, I am a review channel. Like, I like to review content, other people's content, news content. If it goes in with what I feel is important or have an opinion about, I'm going to talk about it. I might review it. Don't hold it against me. I here at Smell the Roses, I give you my opinion. Right or wrong, this is what people are talking about. So I'm talking about it with you all because we seem to care about the same things in this space. Okay. So if you're not agreeing with me right now and you think that I'm stupid, you don't have to be mean to me in the chat. You can just leave, you know, and not get blocked. And there's no bad blood. I'm not mad at you. It's not personal. I get it. I'm not your cup of tea. Okay. But yes, please.
I have very long legs.
Is this an act that you're putting on?
No, it's not.
It's not an act?
No, it's not an act. This is who I am.
Amazing. One commonality that I see between the trans community and the rest of the LGBTQ is that they are all chasing this idea of happiness. Everyone is so focused on trying to be happy. And I think this shows obviously to the feminine
right, to the feminine nature of these people. Yes, I agree, because that is a feminine trait to always be constantly worrying about your happiness. It's like, who is happy all the time? This isn't a freaking Disney cartoon.
Nature of the entire group, that happiness is such a focus literally on every single level, so much so that they are willing to hurt themselves, wreck themselves mentally, physically, all to chase something that you're never really going to have. Like, life isn't fair. Life is not about happiness. It never was. Life is about survival, because if you don't survive, nothing else matters. So screw your happiness. And happiness can lie to you. Happiness can lead you astray. Happiness can, put you in places that you otherwise had not been in.
Yes, I agree. Happiness is fleeting. We should not just be freaking constantly always worried about our happiness. And I want to be happy, and I wasn't happy there, and he wasn't making me happy. Like, happiness is something that you work on internally. You can't like chop off body parts and put on wigs and wear all of these superficial things and think that you're going to get happiness out of doing that. You're not, because it's in here. Like, work on what's in here is what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for that. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. So listen, like, I get that we're not going to see eye to eye on this, but this is a really big discussion going around, and it involves a really big corporation called the WNBA. And now you have players from another large organization called the NBA saying that they're going to join the WNBA and identify as women so that they can collect a paycheck. So this is even though this is not something that we all agree with or we don't see eye to eye on, respect does not require an agreement. Compassion does not require abandoning boundaries, and discernment does not automatically equal hatred. You know, because I want to feel safe in the locker room doesn't mean that I hate you. It just means that you being here makes me feel uncomfortable, and I feel like I have the right to say that because I also have freedoms just like you do, right? The hardest conversations happen when two people's beliefs are not the same, and we are going to collide, and that's exactly when we need more conversations like this. I want you to find your happiness, whatever that is. I just don't want what your happiness is to hurt me, to make me feel anxious, anxiety, you know, to not feel comfortable in spaces that I used to feel comfortable in, right? I don't have to dehumanize people to discuss biology. Biology is just biology, right? And we don't have to disrespect transgender people to talk about women's rights. I want rights just like you as a trans person wants rights. I think that is fair. Okay. If we're going to ask people to coexist, then you got to respect my freedoms just like you want me to respect yours. It goes both ways here. This is a freaking two-way street. Okay. And that's where I'm going to leave it here tonight on the Rose Report. I appreciate all of you guys rocking in the garden with me. I don't want y'all to go anywhere just yet, though, because we're going to take this whole rose garden party, and we're going to go and infiltrate Miss Red Lipstick Vibes channel. So if you can, when we get over there, if you're sticking with me and you're going to take this ride over to Red Lipstick Vibes' channel, I want y'all to make sure to leave a rosebud in the chat. But before we get out of here and I redirect you all over to her channel, I want to say thank you to the Genius CEO for all of your super chats today. I thank you so much, the Genius CEO, and Mr. 40 Hours sending me the jewels. Very thoughtful and sweet of you both. Thank you to everybody that has liked the video, to all of you all who participated in the chat throughout the entire show. I appreciate you all so much. What's up, Sharon Bracy? It's good to see you. What's up, Sharon? Hey, Frederick. It's good to see you too. Steven. Hey, Brother Noobsy. Thank you so much for my jewels. I appreciate you. Thank you for the jewels, Brother Noobsy. But yeah, I hope that you guys like the content today. You know, I know that this is, you know, it's a weird topic. It's new. It's not something that we've ever had to deal with in our culture before, where, you know, we have this new thing called trans that is becoming more popularized, that is getting more social equity in society. So now they want their rights, and I'm all for it. I want them to have rights. I just don't want those rights to infringe on me or you or our children or our grandchildren, you know. So if they have rights and they want rights, their rights to be protected, I have rights and I want my rights to be protected. And I think that most of you all feel the same way. We should all be able to have equal rights and equities amongst each other so that we can all be comfortable and not uncomfortable. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Thank you, Project Leroy, for my gold coins and my jewels. I appreciate you guys so much for rocking with me. When you guys get over to Red's channel, please let her know that Smell the Roses sent you and give her her roses. We love Red Lipstick vibes, okay? I will be back tomorrow night at about 8 o'clock with Jeff St. James on the Ask a Brother podcast. We'll be discussing dating and mating, hot girls and not so hot girls, maybe. So you guys check me out. I'll make sure to drop the link in the community post tomorrow so that you guys can check me out. Make sure you show me lots of love in the chat. Let them know that the garden is in the building. I love you all. I will see y'all tomorrow and then back again on Wednesday at 6:30. I promise not to be late, okay? I will put on the crock pot instead of slaving over the stove on Wednesday. Okay. I love y'all. Thank you, Project Leroy. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay. Good night.